that some of you might be familiar with. And we are really happy to have everybody here with us today and very, very happy to have Candice Dixon from the George Washington University Occupational Therapy Department with us today. She's been a capstone student working with us for the last few months. And we're very lucky to have her here today to present about safe transfer techniques and things to keep in mind doing while you're doing transfers or different ways to make it safer. So I'm going to go off screen and we're going to pull up her PowerPoint. This presentation is being recorded for the DC Caregivers Institute as well. So that will be there. All right, take it away, Candace. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexa. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. And I want to thank you for coming to Safe Transfers Made Simple. As Alexa said, I am a GW student graduating in just under 2 months, thank goodness. Looking forward to that. Um, but quite honestly, I wanted to come and share some information for caregivers as I am one myself. I have been caring for my dad for about 7 years or so, and a lot of the activities or ideas that I have to present to you today, I have used. So they are hopefully easy for many people to incorporate and help to take off some of the stress in caregiving. But before I go any further, I really would like to thank Miss Angela Fields, who is the director of the DC Institute, and also Alexa Wah, who is an occupational therapist, and she's also my supervisor. And I just want to thank them both for the opportunity to share with you today. As mentioned a little bit earlier, I am working with Safe at Home for a 3 month research experience. And Safe at Home is a DC-based and funded organization that helps to reduce fall mitigation or reduce falls by going into residents' homes and evaluating how safe they are in home, and then suggesting modifications, changes, or some simple equipment to be installed so that this person can live safely at home. It is for seniors who are 60 and above, or for adults who are 18 and over. So Jose will go to the next slide. All right, so for this presentation, a majority of it will provide ideas on how to help a loved one reduce their fall risk and for you to protect yourself in the process. Plus, toward the end, I will include a fall recovery tip and some more information about that later. And as we go through the presentation, I will be using certain terms that might be somewhat unfamiliar, so I would like to address those first. Jose, next slide. So the first term is occupational therapy. And so that is a type of therapy that helps people do important acts or tasks that are important to them. Next. Activities of daily living. So these are simple, important activities people routinely perform, such as dressing, eating, and self-care. And the self-care can occur in the bathroom, such as bathing, brushing your teeth, or using the toilet. And quite honestly, based on my experience and feedback from other therapists, there's a growing concern that there's more people avoiding participating in these types of activities because of their fear of falling. And a possibility of why they're avoiding this is because there could be a lack of proper safety support or even equipment in their home so that they can engage in those activities safely. So please keep this in mind as we go through the rest of the presentation. Next. Transfers, which is a big focus of this talk today. So transfers, they are planned movement of a person from one surface or location to another. So simple examples of that can be going from sitting to standing or standing from sitting. Also, moving from a wheelchair to a tub or even a shower chair. So basically, these are movements that we do around the house daily, usually without even thinking about them. But of course, we want to do those safely so that we can maintain our independence as well. Next, caregiver or care partner. I'm sure, of course, we've heard of caregiver, that term, but care partner may not be as familiar. More than likely, I will use those kind of interchangeably as like the same thing, but I believe that a loved one and their caregiver creates a partnership. And then from that partnership, you can have quality care that comes from it, and it also enhances the relationship between the two people or even the group of people who are supporting that older adult or that person who has a disability. Next, care partner body mechanics. So, body mechanics honestly is safe body positioning. And if we think about this outside of the caregiving realm, um, body mechanics are used in many different areas. People who might work in warehouses and transporting large, heavy things from one place to another. It's very important to make sure that you are using your body in a safe way so that you don't injure yourself. And of course, when you think about it with caregiving, you don't want to injure the person you're caring for and yourself. So it's very important to stay close to either the heavy object that you're trying to pick up or being very close to the person that you're working with to reduce that physical load. And when we're doing this, we want to also focus on using our larger muscles. So, for example, that can be our large muscles in our legs, also in our arms, our biceps or triceps, and also with our core, which is like our stomach, just to help um, preserve our integrity as we are moving that heavy thing or helping a person to transfer. So I would like to make a note that with Safe at Home, a lot of the equipment that they recommend for clients helps to um, preserve and support body mechanics. And further into this presentation, if you are a DC resident and you have not heard of Safe at Home, I definitely encourage you to apply, and it's very possible that you would be able to have some of these equipment in your homes to help with safer transitions. All right, next. Okay, then. So I will be talking a lot about cues. And cues, quite honestly, are like simple reminders or hints that can help to improve a person's ability to do a task. And also, it helps to support their memory and their independence. There are generally four types of cues. First, with the eyes that we have in the top left corner of the box, that represents visual cues. So some examples of that could be pictures or posters. Next to that, we have those lips, which would represent verbal cues. And those would be instructions, but the key thing is for them to be very brief so that the person who's receiving the instruction does not have to think a lot about what's being said. Next, there are touch. Oh, I'm sorry. I did say next, but I meant the next cue that I want to talk about is touch cues. Those can be like maybe tapping someone on the hand or their shoulder to bring their attention to what they're doing. It could also be gestures as well. And then lastly would be like auditory cues. So those would be some type of a cue to bring someone's attention or to make them very alert. So it can be, for example, bells or alarms. And I would say that maybe using auditory cues, as in like bells or alarms, maybe should be used somewhat sparingly because that can maybe cause someone to be frustrated or startle them too much, especially if a person has dementia or some other brain changing condition. And so that can be a little counterproductive. Okay, so next this time. Before I go any further, I wanted to make some assumptions. Based on time, I can't get into all of the nitty-gritty of how a lot of these transfers can help all types of conditions. So I'm going to assume that whoever you are working with, this person is able to like voluntarily move themselves. So they can move their arms, their legs, even if it might be slow or they might be a little weak. There's no existence of paralyzation or anything like that. Also, with the tips that I provide, I would say that everyone is different. So not every tip is going to work for everyone, but another intention of this is for me to provide you with many options or examples on how you can better communicate with the person that you're caring for, and also how you can keep yourself safe. And one thing that I experienced in my caregiving, I can maybe use a verbal cue for my dad that can work for, let's say, a month. And so then a month later, that same cue is no longer effective. So I need to come up with something else that is beneficial for him. So with me knowing how stressful caregiving can be, I just want to provide as many ideas and resources as possible for you to kind of pick and choose and understand that you know the person that you're caring for, you know yourself, and you can figure out which of these ideas would be most effective. And so then lastly, dealing with dementia. Um, I may have mentioned it earlier, but my father does have Alzheimer's. So that kind of changes the game a little bit in the whole caregiving arena. And providing cues and having him follow certain instructions, I have to approach it a little bit differently. So even though this presentation is not 100% focused on caring for those with dementia, I want to acknowledge that there will be opportunities in this presentation where um, the ideas will be very effective, hopefully, for those who are experiencing those changes. And I know that the term dementia is used pretty often, but I just wanted to talk about it very briefly. So basically, dementia represents a range of different brain conditions that cause gradual decline in how a person's brain works. It's not one single disease, but instead, it is a group of brain changes that affect memory, thinking, behavior, and the ability to perform routine activities like dressing, going to the bathroom, or even enjoying hobbies. So let's kind of consider if there is a decline in how a person thinks, how they move, and how they understand information, it can be difficult for them to do the things that they want to do, right? And also, communication can be really challenging for them as well. So it's really important for us to keep that in mind as caregivers. Next. Okay, then. So I have a video and we're going to watch it twice. With the first time that we watch it, there's no sound, so don't be alarmed. But I would like you just kind of see what's happening in this video. I did edit it a little bit, so for the sake of time, I'll let you know what you've missed. So basically, a caregiver has brought a client into the bathroom. The client is in a wheelchair. Um, Before a person gets up or sits down from a wheelchair, it's very important to do two things. One is to lock the brakes so that the wheelchair doesn't roll as the person is moving. And also, it's important to remove the leg rest just because that could be a tripping hazard for anyone who was around there. So those two safety checks have been performed in the video, and the caregiver is about to help this person transfer from the wheelchair to this tub bench. Okay, so we can play the video. Okay, great. So we're going to play this one more time, and I'm going to point out a few things during this while it's playing, basically. So you can start playing the video. Um, so notice how the wheelchair is positioned pretty close to this transfer bench. And that's great because it helps to limit the amount of steps that the person and the caregiver has to take. So it helps to provide for a safer transfer. And then also, the client put her hands on the armrest, and she's also putting them on the rest right now. So let's say that the client didn't initially do that. Some cues that can be provided is maybe just like a touch cue to touch her hand and then touch the armrest to have them put their hands there. If that doesn't work, there's also an opportunity to maybe provide some type of contrasting tape or a tape that's a completely different color than the armrest, because that could be a visual cue of them understanding that they need to put their hands on the rest in order to safely lift up out of the chair. Or even when they're standing up, it's good for them to reach back on the chair in the same positions to help them safely sit down. So those are two very good safety practices. Also in the video, the caregiver helped the client put her legs over the tub bench by just lightly tapping on her legs. So again, that's another touch cue. Another visual cue that was used is that the client used the grab bar, which is along the back wall of the tub, that can help her to pull herself over further into the tub and to reduce the effort that she's making to get further into the tub as well. And then also, the chair itself has like little buttons on the bottom. And so if the client was not able to manipulate them herself, that would be an opportunity for the caregiver to also step in and do that for her to reduce any kind of frustration. And lastly, when we talk about body mechanics, throughout the entire transfer, the caregiver was very close to the client. He bent his knees, he bent over to help her as she was bringing her legs into the tub and out of the tub. He stayed very close and was very attentive. So those are some very good body mechanic examples that we can easily incorporate into our care. Oh, okay, you can go next. And that's just another reminder of the different cues that I just went over. But hopefully you can see how these different cues can be easily incorporated. And perhaps you are already doing that without thinking. And if so, that's great. All right, next. So this is an example of a visual cue. Um, The reason for visual cues, they can just be very effective ideas to help provide a loved one with sequential examples on how to complete a task. The picture on the screen is actually an example of a guide that I'm creating for Safe at Home for their clients on how to safely and effectively use a lot of the commonly recommended equipment. And I'll point out a few features of this. So first, we have detailed pictures. And so that is key because, again, having pictures can help someone reduce how much they have to think about doing the activity that they want to do. Also, the pictures are kind of limited, but yet they show important steps on how to complete whatever the task might be. The pictures are limited because we don't want to overwhelm the person who is using this visual guide. We want to support their independence as well with this. And there are also brief, limited instructions under each picture. So if someone prefers to maybe read the instructions or maybe double check if they're doing something correctly, those instructions are a good support for them. And again, the words are very intentional so that the person is not overwhelmed with thinking about what they're reading. Is this correct? Looking at the picture, that takes up a lot of time and that can also cause some frustration. So if you do this at home, you don't have to do something as elaborate as this is. You can really just use maybe just paper, poster, and you can stick up these pictures in the different rooms that your loved one is in, whether it's the bathroom, could be the kitchen, their bedroom, wherever they're spending time to do that activity that's important to them, it is used as like a really quick reference to support their abilities and independence. Next. All right, we have another video. This video actually will be an emphasis on spoken and touch cues for a transfer for someone who is going from the edge of their bed to using a walker to get into a wheelchair. And there is sound on this one, and you can start playing. All right, Miss Carlisa, we're gonna get ready to go from your bed to the wheelchair, all right? Okay. Okay, and I have your belt on, and I'm just gonna hold on to it just a little bit, just for some added safety. Okay. Since your feet are kind of dangling right now, I'd like you to put your hand on the edge of the bed like this. Great, and slowly push yourself to the edge until your feet hit the floor. Leg. Take your time, take your time. You don't want to put a lot of weight on that. Okay, I'm gonna bring your walker up to you. All right, and then when you're ready, I would like you to, you're going to push off of the bed and then bring this hand onto the walker along with this hand over here, okay? And I'll be right with you. Great. Okay, walk out a little bit. And we're gonna start turning to the side. Great. Keep turning. All right then, and walk backward. You're gonna feel the chair behind your knees. Before you sit down, I want you to take your hand and touch the armrest. Yeah. Use your other hand.
Do the other armrest?
Yeah, for the other armrest, and slowly sit down. Great. All right. So with this video, hopefully you noticed that I tapped my client's hands while giving instruction on telling her where to put her hands. And I broke it down into steps. And then also, I wanted to highlight my body mechanics throughout the video, where I had a slight bend in my knees for when she was going from sitting to standing, doing that transfer. And also, as she was walking out from the bed, excuse me, I started on one side of her and then I quickly moved to the other side because the bed was in my way. And so I would not have enough space to safely hold on to her just in case she did slip and fall. So when we might be in tight spaces helping someone with a transfer, it's always good to think about where can I position my body to where I can maintain good body mechanics and then also be in a safe area for myself and the person that I'm helping. So that is one thing that's kind of important, or else we may have been tripping all over each other, and that's counterproductive. And then also, one key spoken cue that I gave her was when she was backing up to the wheelchair. I asked her not to sit down until she felt the chair behind her knees. That is extremely key because sometimes people can be impulsive to sit down. They might be tired, they might be in pain. There's many reasons, but it's important to take maybe those extra couple seconds to help ensure safety than to cause any injury by being impulsive. All right, then next.
All right, Miss.
All right. So right now we're going to transition a little bit into how we use cues and transferred for someone who may have cognitive impairment or some brain changes going on. All right, next. All right, with this video, my client is experiencing some brain changes. So you'll see a little bit of a difference in my cues that I'm giving her. So we'll play the video. This is actually going to be, it's one video, but split into two parts. So I will explain the first part after we watch it.
Okay, Miss Carlisa, we're gonna get ready to stand up and sit in your wheelchair, all right?
For what?
We're gonna go to the store to get your red coat you were telling me about. All right, let's do it. So I have your safety belt on, and I'm gonna put my hand on the back, on your back, holding the belt, and then my other hand is just going to support your elbow lightly, but you're gonna be doing all the standing, okay? I'm sorry. So when you're ready, I would like you to put this hand on the edge of the bed. Beautiful. I love your nails. Yes, I'm gonna put this right here.
Okay.
All right, and then you'll use this other hand onto the handle of your walker. There we go. Nice and tight for safety. Okay.
Okay, so that's the first part. So just 2 points about this. I basically explained what we are about to do and why. And also, I am pointing at the direction of where we're going to move, whether we are standing up, if we're going to move over to the wheelchair, just because I want to give her enough support, not just to tell her what to do, but why we're doing it, so that there is more interest for participation in this activity. And then also, when she began to fidget a little bit throughout the video, I physically cued her to put her hand in safe positions and explained why I'm doing that. Whether she's really paying attention to that or not, it still helps to keep her informed and like make her an active participant in the process. Okay, next.
Okay.
Oh, we can play.
All right, my hand is on the belt in the back. I will help you stand up when you're ready. 1, 2, 3. Great. This hand will go on your walker. Take 2 steps forward. Okay. Oh, we're on the bed again. We're gonna go forward. 1, 2. Okay. Now we're gonna start to walk backward. I'm gonna bring your wheelchair a little closer to you. All right. You're gonna feel the chair behind your legs. Okay.
Are we gonna get my coat?
We're gonna get your coat. Take this hand, touch the armrest. Good. This hand will touch the other armrest. And then we'll slowly sit down. All right, perfect. We're gonna get your leg rest. We don't want it in the way while you're getting into your chair. And then we'll get ready to go to the store.
All right, so the second part of this video, we took our time, which is very important, and I have learned to be very patient when dealing with someone who may have some of those brain changes going on. And thankfully, cues can help, at least for me, it has helped me to become more patient and to reduce the amount of repeated effort that I have to give off by maybe doing gestures, maybe by using a visual cue or modeling, which is basically doing the activity that you want the person to do and then having them do it. So I love cues for that. Also, I was pointing to the direction in which we are going to walk. So throughout the video, there were moments where the client was not able to follow verbal directions very well. It was a little bit of a challenge, but basically, I decided to pull her wheelchair a little bit closer as we were getting to or going through this transfer because I just knew that if I needed her to do something else, it may have been a little bit overwhelming for her. And then that also helps to reduce any impulses that she would have by sitting too soon. And that can be very common for those who are having some brain changes as well. And then there were a few moments where the client was a little distracted or didn't follow the direction of moving forward. She went backward instead. So I kind of made light of it and then repeated myself. But not only that, I wanted her to take 2 steps forward. So I counted out 1, 2, and then I also took those steps with her. So those are some other aspects of support that can be helpful for those who might have dementia, and it also gives them some more like partnership as well. Okay, next. All right then. So, as I mentioned before, since I'm working with Safe at Home, I have been exposed to some really cool equipment that they provide to help support with transfers, regardless of whether a person is experiencing any type of dementia or not. And I wanted to highlight some of these just for those who may be interested in the program. And also, I can provide some ideas on how they can also be used to help someone who is experiencing some brain changes. Okay, next. All right, here, this is a towel rack grab bar. And so it's kind of like a subtle grab bar. It's still functional because it can, hold the towels, but also it is intended to hold a person's body weight to help them um, enter the bathroom. It can help them to sit down onto the toilet or help them stand up versus a traditional towel rack, which is not made to sustain, let's say, what, more than, I think maybe even less than 10 pounds. So this, using grab bars in general can help to preserve a person's strength and to reduce their risk of injury. And also, it can be common for some people to even use the door of a bathroom to hold on to. And of course, that's really unsteady. So using equipment like this can help to reduce a risk of fall. Next. All right. So this is a toilet paper grab bar. And again, it is very functional, but it can help someone to stand up or sit down from lower surfaces. Next. All right, so this is called a Dependabar, and it's actually a video to help you understand how to use it, but it can move and shift, and it promotes like consistency and independence. Let's see. Jose, are you able to play this video? Okay, great. So as you can see that it moves, I think it's about every 15 degrees and it's over a tub. So it can help someone to get in and out of a tub. And then for someone who might be experiencing some brain changes, this can be helpful for them to use because they can use or become dependent on it in certain positions to help them get in and out of the tub. And I would just say to be a little, to be careful of changing it too much, just because if a person gets used to it being in a certain position and then all of a sudden it's shifted, even those minor changes could maybe cause some frustration. Okay, next. All right, so this is a super poll and there's a video, so I'll have you all listen to the volume or listen to this first.
And turn the whole way around, and it'll set into place where you want it to go.
So with this super pole, it's similar to the dependent bar that we saw previously, but it spans from the ceiling to the floor. It actually does not have to be bolted. Um, and it doesn't have to be bolted, I should say, up to supporting someone who's 400 pounds or less. So this can be ideal for people who live in apartments because there is no major construction needed at all because it is tension mounted. And the fact that the arm spans like a large distance and it can turn 360, it can be very useful for many different transitions and support in a bathroom. Okay, next. All right. So here we have a tub transfer bench, which is in green, and it's very good for care partner assisted transfers. The transfer bench that's in blue is actually called a platinum tub transfer bench. And so that is what we saw in a video a little bit earlier that slides in and out of the tub that can provide some more assistance for someone who may have some decreased leg strength, but still wants to be able to take a shower in the tub. So both of these allow a person to be seated versus standing up in the tub. And also, a nifty hack, you could say, for the blue chair is that the armrest, it actually can be removable or it folds up. And that also is a feature in a lot of wheelchairs. With speaking with some of the therapists, sometimes caregivers may not be aware of the fact that armrests on a wheelchair can either flip all the way up or can be removed altogether. And that can also help with ease for transfers. Okay, next. All right, then. So here we have flip up toilet handles, and I think that is a video also. With this, it's really convenient if there are many people living in the house, and if a majority of the people don't need the handles, they can flip up and they can also flip up individually as well. So they can be out of the way for when they're not necessary. And then also a cue for that could be putting some type of contrasting tape, as I said before, onto the handle for someone to understand where to place their hands to help them get up or sit down safely. Okay, next. All right, here, this is another video and it's going to show a transfer from a transport chair to the toilet. And specifically, this equipment is the Bemis toilet riser and it has removable arms. I do want to highlight that the added height to the toilet seat is very convenient for those who may have decreased leg strength, maybe some pain in their knees. So that can be very supportive along with the removable arms as well. Next. As I have shown a lot of these individually, I wanted to show maybe a typical setup of a supportive bathroom, and I will highlight a few features of them. Next. First, we have grab bars, a horizontal and vertical grab bar, which can help with getting in and out of the tub. It could even help making yourself steady, um, exiting the bathroom if necessary. Next, in the purple box is a shower chair. Both arms are removable, and you can adjust the height of that as well. Next. Here we have the super pull, which was highlighted earlier. And again, the fact that the arms can move all around, it helps with increased support from many different directions and angles. Next. And lastly, is the flip up handles over the toilet. Okay, next. All right then. We have bed handles here, and the pictures show how it helps someone to get in and out of a bed, and then also whether this can help someone with a type of dementia or not. The fact that the bed handle is at the edge of the bed, it can provide a physical cue indicating that a person is at the end of the bed if they roll back and forth often. So that can let someone know. You're at the edge of the bed. Be careful or you're going to fall. Next. All right, we have a recliner. So this is a power lift recliner, and I kind of like to call this a fan favorite. Many people appreciate this because it has a forward tilt, so it helps someone to sit down and stand up from a higher height other than when a traditional recliner is a little bit lower. And this can also be a cue for someone to tell them, okay, it's time to stand up or it's time to sit down safely because of the forward tilt that it provides. And I would say one caveat to this would be if you are having a great day, maybe your knees or other joints in your legs are not hurting as much, we would encourage you to stand up and sit down from the recliner in its traditional position versus relying on the lift because we want to preserve your strength as much as possible. But if you are having a bad day, of course, definitely use the lift when necessary. All right, next. All right, then. So I'm going to start wrapping up pretty soon. But as I mentioned before, I did want to touch a little bit on fall recovery. Now, if you might be a person who fell, or if you're helping someone up from the ground, these are four tips that I think are very important to keep in mind. First, it is good to use a sturdy piece of furniture without wheels for you to help prop yourself up as you're getting up or as you're coaching someone to get up off the ground. If you're a care partner helping someone off the ground, again, think about your body mechanics and stay close to the person as they are getting up. Next, with body checks, whether it is you who fell or someone else, ask these questions. Is there any pain? Is there any discomfort? Are you bleeding? Because if there is yes to any of these questions, stay in place and call for help because there's a high risk that you can increase the injury by moving if there is pain, discomfort, or if you're bleeding. And then lastly, with helping someone off the ground or even you're getting yourself off the ground, it's very important for you to pause from laying down completely to then maybe sitting up. It's good to pause for maybe 15 to 30 seconds because changing position so quickly can actually cause someone to pass out. And again, that would I'm sorry, that would cause more of an injury for yourself. And so just be very careful. Get up very slowly if you're able to. All right, next. This is a video of where I am coaching someone off the ground. They are using a tool called a rescue up. And so with this tool, it is kind of shaped like steps, and you can use it to um, kind of slide your way up to a sturdy piece of furniture. There we have a chair, and the chair does not have any wheels. And I'll talk a little bit more about this after the video.
Candice! Girl, I done failed.
Carlise, are you okay?
Oh, I'm good. Ain't nothing hurt.
Okay.
I just can't seem to.
Okay,
Pick
no,
myself
I
up.
understand. No bleeding or anything like that?
No, I done my check. I'm
Okay, good. I'm gonna get your rescue up right here for you.
good. Okay.
I'm gonna walk you through this, okay?
Oh, girl, thank you.
Oh, okay then. Can you lay over to your right side?
Oh, yeah. I can get
Okay.
there.
Good, good, good. Now use your right arm and push yourself up.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Oh.
okay. And you can move your legs, okay?
yeah, they good.
Okay, let me pull this out for you.
I'm just a little heavy. I can't.
It's okay, just want you to take your time. Now use your legs and inch yourself up. Yep, and use your arm to get onto each step.
Oh,
Yep, I'm glad that you're on your right hip.
child. Oh, who'd have knew?
Getting out of bed sometimes can be a little more difficult than we think. Okay, so stay right here. I'm going to push this in for you. Okay, now use your legs to prop yourself up onto the chair. Okay, good. All right.
All right then. So basically coaching someone off the ground can be very effective if you physically cannot get the person up. And also another way to use that tool, the Ready Up, is to inch yourself onto it backward, kind of like if you're going up steps backward. Or you could use the technique that the client in the video did, which was shifting yourself to one hip and kind of slowly inching yourself up that way. Now, although I'm not able to go into a lot of other fall recovery techniques, there will be many talks that Safe at Home will be offering this summer, some more workshops with other fall recovery options. And so I encourage you to stay tuned for that. And they can also help you with understanding how to use those tools as well. So, as I said, yes, I am wrapping up. Um, Jose, could you go to the next slide? All right. Of course, I want to provide all of my references, letting you know that all the information that I gave you is fact and evidence-based. Next slide. Thank you so much for your attention. It definitely means a lot to me because you could be doing something else for this past almost hour. And I also want to thank you for being a caregiver as well. It is not an easy job, but it can be very rewarding at the same time. So congrats to you. I will have a feedback poll. I think we're going to start it pretty soon in Zoom. If you're able to complete it, I would greatly appreciate that. There are 4 questions. You will have to scroll down to each question before ending the poll or submitting it, even though you can only see one question right now. And if for some reason you're not able to access the poll, we will also send out um, the same one via email. It'll be a link. If you have a Google email address, you'll be able to open it. Same questions. And if you're not able to access that, no worries at all. Again, I do appreciate your time. And there's a few minutes left over, so we can go into any questions that you might have. I'm going to move this. Okay, yeah, so in the chat right now, there is a link for the Rescue Up, which is that tool featured in the last video. And it is very informative. If you're interested in that, it is a little pricey, but people have used like their insurance to help pay for that. So what I would do, I would recommend for you to talk to your primary care doctor if you're interested in any fall recovery tools, and see if they can refer you to an occupational therapist who can help you acquire the tools or even connect you with the person in your insurance to help purchase those as well. So if I make the screen bigger, I'll see if there's any questions.
And if anybody wants to add some questions into the chat, feel free to add into the chat.
I actually can't see if anyone is raising their hand. Can you tell?
Yeah, you can. I don't see anything right now.
Okay, no
Let me just
problem.
make sure. Is
Oh,
there, oh, you got it. Go for it.
is there a cost for the basic safe at home services? Actually, there is no cost if the person that you're helping is a DC resident. They also have to be at least 60 years old, or they have to be an adult, um, 18 or older, living with a disability. Basically, this is a grant funded program, so there's no cost at all to people receiving the services.
I'll just add that there, as long as you're income eligible, and if you want to apply for the program, you can call the Department of Aging and Community Living at 202 724 5626. Again, that's 202 724 5626. And you have to call through there to apply, so you can get your information in there. And thank you, Eric, just dropped it in the chat as well.
Yes, thank you.
And that program, as Candice had mentioned before, we do an assessment, an occupational therapy assessment, then taking a look at your home and you to see how what might be the most useful to you in your house.
There's another question. Is there any suggestions for lower body strength? Absolutely. Let's see. Well, honestly, since I know this person who has asked a question, I can connect with you um, on the side to give you some pointers. But I would recommend that for right now, check in with your primary care doctor so that they understand exactly what your challenges might be and they can give you the proper resources, because there are so many options to help with that. But yes. Um, you are in good company and you can definitely increase your strength. All right. How can you use the same techniques with individuals with bipolar disorder? That is a great question. I would say first, understanding who you are working with, understanding also how they respond to certain instructions, maybe some of those cues, and then learning how to tailor those cues to how they best respond. Just based on that disorder, there are a lot of different nuances involved in that. Let me see. Okay, more information. Will a video of the webinar be shared with attendees? I believe it will be shared for those who are a part of the DC Caregiving Institutes, but Alexa, will it also be sent out to those who registered?
No, for everybody who's here on the call today, we will have a handout that Candace has made with some of the main details on it. You also, as long as you want to, we will send you our information for upcoming presentations about fall recovery that we have coming up in the future too. But as far as this information in it, it's provided if you're a member of the Dersey Caregivers Institute, like Candace said. Otherwise, you will get a handout that has some of the information supplied in it that she talked about today.
All right, and then last question. What is the tool called Getting in the Chair? Do you mean the from the last video, the Rescue Up, the gray tool is called Rescue Up. And if you scroll to the top of our chat, there is a link directly guiding you to the company that creates this. So it's called Rescue Up, RESQUP. Yep, thank you. And the link is provided again.
And I don't think any, like, I know that Save at Home at this time does not provide this. We did have it as a raffle for our Falls Prevention Awareness Week in September last year. So keep an eye out for our Falls Prevention Awareness Week information coming up in September. We potentially could have raffles again from that. I'm not sure yet. But I believe that HSA and FSA funds can be used for the Rescue Up if you purchase directly from them as well. All right. I think that, did anybody else have any last minute questions before we sign out today? All right, I just had one more thing to add in here with the exercises too. I just want to make sure everybody on the call today knows that we have the Safe at Home 2.0 program that helps support this call today, but also does evidence-based classes to decrease risk of falls, such as the classes are called Matter of Balance and Stay Active and Independent for Life. Those are for free. We offer them throughout the year online. We can help you support you technologically to be able to get onto those calls, but we offer those classes throughout the year. The National Council on Aging has studied classes like this to decrease risk of falls by incidence of falls by over 50%. So we highly recommend it. If you have more questions about that, we would want you to give a call to Jose, who's our 2.0 specialist here, our coordinator, and his number is 202 559 9856. Again, 202 559 9856. That is for folks that are residing here in DC. There are a lot of other resources out there as well. If you have other questions, you can definitely get back with us through the emails we'll have there. So again, Candice, thank you so much for the very informative presentation today. Great job. And thank you so much, everybody, for attending with us today. Oh, I think Edwinta might have had a question as well. Let me see here. Sorry, Edwinta, I'm looking for you on my on my computer here. All right. Did it let you
No,
unmute?
actually, I was looking for the hand clap and I raised my
Oh,
hand, but it was a very good presentation. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope that you all you're able to even just walk away with one useful piece of information or something to follow up on. And the handout that will be coming, I hope that'll be very beneficial for you as well. Thank you
Okay,
all
thank
again
you.
for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again, Candace. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye.